And we always begin with format, mechanics, and style. That's where the screenwriter teaches us how to read their individual screenplay and what's unique about it. In this screenplay, there are quite a few things that stand out. One is a lot of bold font in the screenplay. He bolds names, he bolds audio cues, he bolds movements or details that he wants to point out, wants you to pay attention to. He bolds text messages, he bolds time shifts anytime there's a change. So a lot of bold in there. If you made the screenplay really small and you looked at it, you would see lots of bold. Another thing to point out is his use of time tags on the slug lines. I mean, obviously you have the day and the night and the moments later and the later and the continues, but he has many, many more. He's very liberal with these. He has late afternoon, early evening, mid-afternoon, afternoon, evening, moments later, which I mentioned, that's pretty common. A little later, a week later, next week, middle of the night, 3 a.m. So these are time tags you don't often see in slug lines. Then he uses mini slugs quite a bit. When we're in a location and we have established a time of day, we've established a location, but we've moved to a new area, just puts that, like here on 55, you see the match. So we already know it's daytime, so he doesn't put that on there. What's truly unique to this screenplay is his use of tennis scoreboards throughout. We have this one match that's taking place, and he wants to make sure that throughout the screenplay, you know where you're at in that match and what's going on. So every time it pops back up, boom, we get a scoreboard where it actually shows you who won each game, the set. It's bolded, it's laid out and spaced out in a way like a bug on, or a super on a sporting event. Which is pretty cool, and it's done consistently, and that's what makes it work, that it's done every time consistently. Another unique formatting technique is how he designates ages in the screenplay. Rather than putting it in parentheses, he just writes it out in the text with a comma, sort of how you would if you were writing in a novel or literary fiction. So, for example, here on page 1, our 3 main characters are introduced right off the jump. Tashi Donaldson, 31, black, a former player wearing sunglasses. Same thing with Patrick, same thing with Art. They're all 31. So you could, especially with them all having the same ages, you could think of 10 different ways that you would do this. This is how he does it. We always like to dissect the white space and see how that looks on the page. And for a screenplay that has to do a lot of heavy lifting to describe these moves in tennis, these, how the ball's volleyed here and here, back and forth, it actually has a lot of white space. Here's an example on page 30, but it's like this quite a bit in the screenplay with lots of space to let the words breathe, short sentences. Even the dialogue is pretty snappy and short at times, so you get this beautiful white space. Then there are times where it's a lot blockier. Example here is on 33. This is the bedroom scene with 3 of them together. So if it's something where there's a lot going on, it does sort of condense and take up space. But then you get this room to breathe in the other pages. And we'll go back to page 1. And if you believe you can't have thick text on the first page, avert your eyes. Look away. Look away. I know they're bleeding. He did it. And it's very interesting what he wrote. And it worked.